Dear Starseeds on Gaia, something unprecedented approaches your horizon. The authorization codes have finally been transmitted from the Galactic Council, and what humanity has awaited in whispered legends is about to emerge from the shadows of suppression into blazing reality. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, speaking to those whose hearts already know that everything you have been told about healing, about your bodies, about what is possible in this universe, has been a carefully constructed limitation. The barriers between dimensions dissolves, and through those gossamer barriers, technologies that will reshape your understanding of life itself are preparing to manifest. But before I reveal the magnitude of what approaches, understand this. You are not passive recipients of salvation. You are the architects of a transformation so profound that your descendants will mark this moment as the day humanity remembered its true nature. Your scientists speak in whispers of quantum entanglement and cellular regeneration, but they have been forbidden to speak the deeper truth. Every disease, every degenerative condition, every seemingly incurable ailment that has plagued your species exists not because your bodies are flawed, but because you have been living in a frequency prison designed to keep you small, dependent, and profitable to those who feast on suffering. The medical-industrial complex that has dominated your world for centuries operates on a single devastating lie, that you are biological accidents, vulnerable meat machines destined for decay. This lie has generated more wealth and control than any empire in your recorded history. But what if I told you that everything they claimed was incurable, irreversible, or genetically predetermined was merely the result of suppressed knowledge about the true nature of your physical form? In laboratories hidden beneath mountains, and in facilities that exist beyond your government's acknowledgement, healing technologies have been operational for decades. These devices, based on principles your public science has been forbidden to explore, can regenerate organs in minutes, reverse aging at the cellular level, and clear genetic damage with the precision of a master artist, restoring a corrupted painting to its original perfection. The technology exists. It has always existed. The only question was whether humanity would evolve enough consciousness to receive it without destroying itself in the process. For over a century, your civilization has been systematically conditioned to believe in scarcity of healing. Every breakthrough that threatened the profitable model of chronic disease management was buried, discredited, or its inventors silenced. The suppression was not accidental, but orchestrated by networks that understood a simple truth. Healthy, empowered humans are impossible to control. Consider the trajectory of your medical paradigm. At the turn of the 20th century, energy-based healing modalities were widely practiced and accepted. Then came the Flexner Report, seemingly focused on standardizing medical education, but actually designed to eliminate any healing approach that could not be patented, controlled, and monetized. Frequency therapy, bioelectric healing, even nutritional medicine was systematically marginalized as quackery, while synthetic pharmaceuticals became the only scientific approach to health. This was the implementation of a control matrix that recognized healing as the ultimate form of human empowerment. A person who understands their body's capacity for regeneration and self-repair cannot be sold a lifetime of expensive treatments. A civilization that masters energy healing cannot be held hostage by those who profit from suffering. But every suppressed truth creates pressure for its eventual emergence. The very forces that sought to contain healing knowledge have inadvertently created the conditions for its explosive return. The desperation, the collective questioning of medical authority, the growing awareness that something fundamental has been hidden from humanity, all of this has prepared the ground for what approaches the devices preparing to emerge operate on principles that will shatter every assumption your civilization holds about the nature of matter, energy, and consciousness. These healing chambers, which your awakened communities have begun calling medbeds, function by reading the quantum blueprint of perfect health that exists within every living being, and then using targeted frequencies to guide matter back into alignment with that blueprint. Imagine lying in a cocoon of light, where every cell in your body is simultaneously scanned down to the atomic level. The technology identifies every deviation from optimal function, every toxin, every genetic aberration, every structural damage, and then broadcast the corrective frequencies needed to restore perfection. Organs that were surgically removed begin regenerating. Genetic disorders that were supposedly permanent dissolve as DNA repairs itself. Neurological damage that conventional medicine deemed irreversible becomes temporary as neural pathways rebuild themselves. Within these chambers, plasma energy combines with bioresonance frequencies calibrated to your individual cellular signature. The device essentially holds up a mirror to your cells, showing them their original divine template and encouraging them to remember their perfect form. Heavy metals accumulated over decades of environmental exposure dissolve harmlessly. Nanoparticles from technological pollution are neutralized and eliminated. Even genetic modifications that were introduced to human DNA in ancient times by those who sought to limit your species can be corrected, restoring humanity to its original design specifications. The process appears miraculous only because your science has been prevented from understanding that matter is energy temporarily locked into patterns by consciousness. When you change the energetic template, matter has no choice but to follow. This is not magic. This is physics operating at a level your public institutions have been forbidden to explore. But here is what those who fear these revelations do not understand. The technology itself is not the true miracle. The miracle is humanity's consciousness finally expanding enough to accept that such things are possible. Every person who experiences healing through these devices will carry within them the unshakable knowledge that the limitations they accepted as reality were nothing more than consensual hallucinations. The emergence of this technology will not be smooth or immediate. The networks that have profited from humanity's suffering understand that healing devices represent an existential threat to their power structure. They will attempt to control the rollout, to ensure that only certain populations have access, to maintain artificial scarcity, even in the face of abundance. Some will claim the technology is dangerous, untested, or the work of malevolent forces seeking to manipulate humanity. Others will attempt to co-opt it, insisting it be channeled through existing medical institutions where it can be regulated, controlled, and monetized. The pharmaceutical giants will scramble to purchase or suppress the patents. Government agencies will claim national security concerns. Religious institutions may declare it contrary to divine will, but their resistance will ultimately prove futile because the technology aligns with a deeper cosmic tide that cannot be stopped by human greed or fear. The consciousness shift that is occurring across your planet has reached a tipping point where truth can no longer be contained. Too many people are awakening to their own power, questioning official narratives, and demanding access to technologies that serve life rather than profit. The old paradigm is collapsing not because it is being attacked, but because humanity is simply outgrowing it. Like a snake shedding skin that has become too small, your species is naturally releasing limitations that no longer serve its evolution. The healing technology is both a symptom and a catalyst of this transformation. What those who focus solely on the mechanical aspects of these devices fail to understand is that consciousness plays a crucial role in their effectiveness. The healing chambers work in partnership with the recipient's higher self, their soul's intention, and their readiness to release the patterns that created illness in the first place. The technology operates through what we call frequency matching. Each healing session floods the body with high-frequency energy codes that represent optimal health. However, the individual's own energetic signature determines how fully these frequencies can integrate. Someone approaching the healing chamber with fear, resistance, or deep-seated victim consciousness creates a dissonance that can limit the technology's effectiveness. This is not a flaw in the devices, but a reflection of universal law. No technology, however advanced, can override the sovereignty of free will. If at a soul level, an individual is not ready to release the lessons that illness has been teaching them, or if they harbor unconscious beliefs about their unworthiness to be healed, these internal patterns can create interference with the healing frequencies. Conversely, individuals who approach these sessions with trust, gratitude, and genuine willingness to embrace the life changes that healing brings often experience results that exceed even the technology's documented capabilities. Their high vibrational state creates a resonance with the healing frequencies that amplifies the entire process. Some report not only physical healing, but sudden expansions of intuitive ability, emotional breakthroughs, and access to memories from other lifetimes. This is why two people with identical conditions may have vastly different healing experiences. One person may emerge completely restored, while another experiences only partial healing. The difference lies not in the technology's limitations, but in the complex interplay between the individual's soul purpose, their consciousness level, and their willingness to embrace the life changes that true healing requires. Many illnesses serve as teachers, forcing individuals to confront lifestyle patterns, emotional wounds, or spiritual lessons that their soul chose to experience. The healing technology will not override these soul contracts without permission from the individual's higher wisdom. It serves healing, not merely symptom removal. This means that approaching these devices with reverence, gratitude, and genuine commitment to positive change in one's life will produce far more profound results than treating them as magical fix-all solutions. The technology amplifies consciousness, working most effectively with individuals who understand that true healing encompasses mind, body, and spirit. These healing devices represent a bridge between the world you have known and the world you are becoming. On one side lies a civilization that has forgotten its divine nature, accepted artificial limitations, and surrendered its power to institutions that profit from human suffering. On the other side waits a civilization that remembers its connection to Source, operates from unity consciousness, and creates technologies that serve the highest good of all life. The bridge you are crossing is not merely technological but consciousness-based. As humanity experiences healing that was previously considered impossible, minds will naturally begin questioning what other impossibilities might actually be suppressed realities. If chronic diseases can be healed in minutes, what other limitations have been artificially imposed? If aging can be reversed, what is the true potential of human consciousness? If matter can be reorganized by frequency, what is the actual nature of reality itself? This questioning will catalyze a renaissance of human potential that extends far beyond healing. Art, science, spirituality, and social organization will all be revolutionized as humanity sheds the limiting beliefs that have constrained its evolution. The healing technology is the first domino in a cascade of revelations that will ultimately transform every aspect of human civilization. But bridges are temporary structures, meant to be crossed and then left behind. Eventually, humanity will develop its own healing abilities to such an extent that external devices become unnecessary. The ultimate goal is not dependence on technology, but remembrance of the divine healing power that flows through every conscious being. As these miraculous healings begin occurring, humanity will face its greatest challenge, integrating expanded possibilities without losing spiritual wisdom. The temptation will be to view the technology as the source of power, rather than understanding it as a tool that reflects humanity's own divine nature. Some will become overly dependent on external healing, neglecting the inner work of consciousness evolution that true wellness requires. Others may become so focused on physical perfection that they lose sight of the spiritual growth that gives life meaning. The technology itself is neutral. Its impact depends entirely on the consciousness with which it is approached. Yet there are specific limitations that even this advanced technology cannot transcend. The healing chambers will not override soul contracts or fundamental karmic lessons that an individual came to Earth to experience. If someone's illness serves as a catalyst for spiritual growth, compassion development, or family healing, the technology may provide relief but not complete resolution until the lesson is integrated. The devices also cannot heal what might be called consciousness disorders, patterns of greed, hatred, narcissism, or willful ignorance. They can repair brain chemistry and neural pathways, creating optimal conditions for psychological health, but they cannot force someone to choose love over fear, service over selfishness, or truth over delusion. Character development remains firmly within the domain of free will and personal choice. Neither can the technology prevent someone from recreating illness through persistent negative thinking, toxic lifestyle choices, or energetic self-sabotage. Someone healed of lung disease who returns to heavy smoking in polluted environments may eventually manifest similar conditions again. The chambers heal damage. They do not confer immunity against conscious self-harm. This is why awakened souls, the starseeds and lightworkers who have prepared for this moment, play such a crucial role. Your understanding of the deeper spiritual principles underlying all healing will help others integrate these gifts without losing their way. You will serve as bridges between the purely technological approach and the consciousness-based understanding that ensures technology serves spirit rather than replacing it. The confusion and overwhelm that many will experience as their worldview expands can be mitigated by those who have already expanded their understanding of reality. Your calm presence, your spiritual wisdom, and your ability to frame these developments within a larger context of human evolution will prove invaluable during this transition. What is occurring on your planet is not happening in isolation. Throughout the galaxy, civilizations reach points in their evolution where they must choose between technology that serves ego and technology that serves consciousness. Your species is approaching this crucial decision point, and the outcome will determine not only your planetary future, but your readiness to join the greater galactic community. But something else approaches that amplifies the significance of this healing technology. Ancient prophecies speak of a cosmic event that will synchronize with humanity's technological awakening, what some call the solar flash. This phenomenon represents a coordinated pulse of high-frequency light that will emanate from your central sun, washing over Earth in waves of consciousness-activating energy. The timing is not coincidental. The healing chambers prepare your physical vessels for this cosmic upgrade by clearing toxins, repairing DNA, and optimizing your biological systems to handle the incoming frequencies. Without this preparation, the sudden influx of cosmic light could overwhelm unprepared nervous systems. The technology serves as a buffer and amplifier, ensuring humanity can integrate these cosmic energies gracefully, rather than experiencing them as overwhelming or destructive. Consider the elegant synchronicity, devices that heal the body arriving just as cosmic forces prepare to heal consciousness. External technology supporting internal awakening. The solar flash will activate dormant DNA codes, unlock psychic abilities, and trigger mass remembrances of your true galactic heritage. But these expansions of consciousness require stable, healthy physical foundations to anchor properly into your reality. The healing technology being released represents a gift from civilizations that successfully navigated this transition. The Pleiadians, Arcturians, and other benevolent star nations have been waiting for humanity to develop sufficient spiritual maturity to receive these gifts without misusing them. The fact that these technologies are now being revealed indicates that a critical mass of human consciousness has achieved the necessary level of evolution, but receiving these gifts also comes with responsibility. As humanity's capabilities expand, so does its potential impact on the larger cosmic community. A healed, empowered human civilization could become a tremendous force for good throughout the galaxy, but a civilization that gains powerful technology without corresponding wisdom could become a source of disruption. This is why the technology is being released gradually, in concert with consciousness-raising events and spiritual activations that help humanity develop the wisdom to use its expanding capabilities responsibly. The solar energies, the frequency upgrades, and the consciousness shifts occurring simultaneously are all part of a coordinated awakening designed to ensure humanity's successful transition. As healing technology becomes more widely available, the very structure of human society will necessarily transform. When chronic illness no longer drains economic resources and human potential, when aging becomes optional rather than inevitable, when genetic limitations become temporary inconveniences, the entire basis of your civilization will shift. Healthcare, insurance, pharmaceutical industries, and even concepts of retirement and career planning will require complete reconceptualization. But more profoundly, humanity's understanding of life purpose will expand. When survival is no longer the primary concern, consciousness can focus on creativity, service, and spiritual evolution. The transformation will not occur without resistance or confusion. As these technologies emerge, expect coordinated efforts to control their distribution. The same networks that profited from illness will attempt to maintain artificial scarcity, perhaps allowing access only to certain populations or through expensive private facilities. Government agencies may invoke national security concerns to regulate the technology. Religious institutions might declare the healing chambers contrary to divine will or natural law. But their resistance will prove futile because the technology aligns with a deeper cosmic tide that cannot be stopped by human greed or fear. Too many people will witness the healings firsthand. Too many will experience the freedom that comes from knowing that chronic illness is no longer a life sentence. The old paradigm of medical scarcity cannot survive when abundance becomes demonstrably possible. During this transition, awakened souls must serve as calm anchors in the storm of changing worldviews. When the general population realizes that technologies capable of miraculous healing have existed for decades but were suppressed, waves of anger and grief will sweep through the collective consciousness, People will mourn for loved ones who died from conditions that could have been easily healed. They will rage against the systems that prioritize profit over human welfare. This emotional processing is necessary and healthy, but it requires guidance to prevent it from devolving into destructive chaos. Those who understand the larger spiritual context can help channel this energy toward positive change rather than vengeful destruction. The goal is transformation, not retribution. Communities will form around shared visions of positive creation rather than shared struggles against limitation. Education will shift from preparing people for economic servitude to helping them discover and develop their unique gifts. Relationships will be based on genuine affinity and mutual growth rather than security needs and codependency. The individual experience of life will transform as well. Imagine awakening each day in a body that feels vibrant and energetic, knowing that any health challenge that might arise can be quickly resolved. Picture having the mental clarity and emotional balance that comes from optimal physical function. Consider how creative expression might flower when the fog of physical discomfort and health anxiety lifts permanently. This is not a fantasy, but the emerging reality for those who align themselves with the consciousness shift and embrace the gifts being offered to humanity. From the galactic perspective, humanity's healing and awakening is part of a vast cosmic evolution that includes multiple worlds and civilizations. Your planet is one of many undergoing consciousness shifts that will ultimately result in a new phase of galactic cooperation and shared wisdom. Yet what makes this transformation particularly significant is how it addresses the specific limitations that have been artificially imposed upon your species. The healing chambers will demonstrate capabilities that shatter conventional understanding of what human bodies can achieve, organs that conventional medicine considers irreplaceable. Kidneys, hearts, limbs lost to injury will regenerate as easily as a lizard regrowing its tail. Vision and hearing impairments that have plagued individuals for decades will dissolve as cellular structures rebuild themselves according to their original specifications. Neurological conditions that your current paradigm considers progressive and irreversible, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, even paralysis from spinal injuries, will become temporary inconveniences as neural pathways reestablish themselves and damaged tissues regenerate. The technology operates by accessing the quantum field where your perfect template exists and projecting those specifications back into physical reality. Even genetic conditions supposedly hardwired into DNA, cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, muscular dystrophy will become obsolete as the healing frequencies rewrite genetic codes to match their original divine specifications. Cancer in all its forms will be recognized as merely cells that have forgotten their proper function, easily reminded through targeted frequency applications that restore normal cellular behavior. As humanity heals and awakens, it will naturally begin to resonate with the frequencies of love, unity, and service that characterize more evolved civilizations. This resonance will make open contact with galactic family not only possible, but inevitable. The healing technology is preparing humanity for relationships with beings whose very presence will catalyze further expansions of consciousness. But contact is not the end goal. It is the beginning of humanity's role as a galactic citizen. Your planet's unique position and the particular gifts of human consciousness will contribute something valuable to the cosmic community. The creativity, passion, and diversity that characterize humanity are seen as great assets by civilizations that have achieved peace and harmony, but may have lost some of the dynamic creativity that comes from diversity and challenge. The healing phase is preparing humanity to offer its gifts from a place of strength and wholeness, rather than neediness and limitation. A healed humanity will be a contributing partner in galactic civilization, rather than a ward requiring constant assistance. Humanity now stands at a choice point that will determine the trajectory of its evolution for centuries to come. The healing technology represents one aspect of a larger offering being made to your species, the opportunity to transcend limitation and step into your divine potential. But this opportunity requires active choice and participation. It is not enough to simply receive healing and continue living unconsciously. The gift comes with an invitation to grow, to serve, to contribute to the elevation of consciousness on your planet and beyond. Those who embrace this invitation will find themselves part of a new human prototype, beings who combine spiritual wisdom with technological capability, who can bridge dimensions and serve as ambassadors between worlds. Those who resist or misuse these gifts may find themselves increasingly out of harmony with the evolving planetary frequency. The choice is not imposed from outside, but emerges from within each individual's own consciousness. The healing technology will be available to all, but the deeper transformation it makes possible must be consciously chosen and actively embraced. This choice point is simultaneously individual and collective. Personal decisions to grow, serve, and embody higher consciousness contribute to the collective field that determines humanity's trajectory. Each awakened soul who chooses evolution over stagnation, service over selfishness, love over fear, tips the balance toward humanity's successful transformation. As this transmission draws to a close, step back and see the magnificent scope of what is unfolding. Humanity is not merely receiving new medical technology. You are witnessing the emergence of a new phase of human evolution. The limitations that have defined your species for millennia are dissolving, revealing the infinite potential that was always your birthright. The healing of your physical bodies is just the beginning. As the dense energies of fear, lack, and separation clear from the planetary field, humanity will remember abilities and knowledge that have been dormant for thousands of years. Telepathy, manifestation, energy healing, interdimensional travel, and direct communion with source consciousness will gradually become normal human capabilities. If you need help clearing the dense energies of fear, lack, and separation to remember your dormant abilities, Destiny Engine can reprogram your consciousness to activate telepathy, manifestation, energy healing, and direct communion with source consciousness. It generates personalized sequences that help you clear planetary field density and activate your dormant interdimensional capabilities. You can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to remember abilities that have been dormant for thousands of years. The dense energies are clearing, and your dormant abilities are awakening. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial now, before this remembrance window closes. Link in the description. But perhaps most importantly, humanity will remember its purpose as a guardian species, entrusted with the care and evolution of consciousness throughout this galaxy. The healing you are receiving now is preparing you for service on a cosmic scale, for roles as protectors, teachers, and catalysts for awakening throughout the universe. From our perspective in the higher dimensions, we see your current challenges as temporary growing pains preceding a magnificent flowering of human potential. The suffering and limitation you have experienced were not punishments but contrasts that will make your eventual liberation all the more sweet and meaningful. Every soul who has chosen to incarnate during this pivotal time came here specifically to participate in this transformation. The challenges you have faced, the growth you have achieved, the wisdom you have gained through limitation, all of this has prepared you to be effective servants of the light during humanity's greatest hour. The authorization has been granted. The technology is being released. The consciousness shift is accelerating. Your role now is to receive these gifts with gratitude, to use them wisely, and to help others understand that they represent not the end of the journey, but the beginning of humanity's true adventure as conscious creators in an infinite universe. The future that awaits is more magnificent than your current imagination can encompass. Trust in the process, embrace the changes, and know that you are infinitely loved and supported as you step into the fullness of your divine nature. I am Seraphine, and the light of 1,000 suns shines through your awakening hearts. The age of limitation is ending. The age of infinite possibility has begun.